Hello, I'm Pastor Carl Johnston with the Atlanta, Ebenezer, and Hopedale United Methodist Churches, the Prairie Winds Parish. For our devotions this week, I'm going to be looking at questions about the topic of prayer. First question for this week on Tuesday is, how come we always have to bow our heads and close our eyes and fold our hands? Well, the reason we do that is because that's how we were trained as children. When you're training a child to pray, it is really helpful to have them close their eyes so they don't look around at other things and get distracted. It's also helpful for them to look down because if they don't close their eyes, at least they're looking down at hardly anything that's interesting. The reason you have them fold their hands is because that way they don't touch anything. The idea with training a child to close their eyes and bow their heads and fold their hands is to help with the area of focus. Now, most of us get to the point where we don't have to do that. Now, many of us do that out of habit because that's what we've always done, because that's the way we were trained. But I think as we get older, you can move to different kind of positions of prayer, things that work for you. The Bible's full of examples of lifting up holy hands to the Lord, looking up while you pray, expecting God to receive, you're expecting to receive something from God. There's a lot of different kind of ways that you could pray about things. A lot of different positions, a lot of different postures. Some people find it very humbling to kneel before God. Other people find it very comforting just to sit in a chair or sit in bed or lay in bed. Some people lay flat on the floor on their face. And there's just so many different ways to do this. But one of the reasons most of the time we tell people to close their eyes and bow their heads and fold their hands is because that's how we were trained as children. It is a helpful way to keep our focus. Focusing on God, focusing on the things we're thinking about that we want to address God on are some of the most important things we can do. Some of us get to the point where, well, our memories aren't what they used to be. So we have lists, we have prayer lists and people we want to pray for. And many of our churches, we have a prayer list on the back of the bulletin. You remember when we used to worship in church and we had bulletins? At those times, we had prayer lists on the back of the bulletin. Those are people we could pray for and in situations. And so we would just look at those and try to pray for each of those requests. It's really hard to pray for all those requests when they're listed if you have your eyes closed. There are certain times you should not pray with your eyes closed, especially if you're driving. That's a bad time to pray with your eyes closed. And so you have to have those times where you keep your eyes open. I learned as a hospital chaplain to pray with my eyes open. It's disconcerting to have someone fall asleep or get sick while you've got your eyes closed and you don't notice it. So there are times, yes, keep your eyes open. There are times you need to do different things with your head. There are different things you need to do with your hands. Be creative. God wants to know what's going on from the base of your heart, not from what position you're in. So you pray, you keep working on it, you're going to do fine. And that's something for you to think about today.